You begin an investigation.
Based on what? Your imagination?
It was obviously a suicide.
Never trust the obvious.
Uncle didn't kill himself.
Before a lifetime of adventure came the adventure of a lifetime.
What's your name?
Holmes. Sherlock Holmes.
That was a girl.
Brilliant deduction, Watson.
Steven Spielberg presents Young Sherlock Holmes, directed by Barry Levinson.
There's a clever murderer on the loose, and I'm going to find him.
I might get caught, and that would mean trouble.
You would let trouble ruin an opportunity for adventure. It's only a hallucination. Maybe not.
Oh my God, we're going to kill her.
Stop! She's alive!
Before the legend began.
Hi, everybody, and welcome once again to GeekFest Rants. My name is Carlos Perron, and joining me today I have a pair of Steves. Say hello, pair of Steves.
Hello, pair of Steves.
Cheerio.
That's supposed to be a hint of what we're about to see. Well, we are doing a commentary. This time around, we are going back into a film that has a connection to Star Wars, if you will. You know, everything we do eventually gets connected to Star Wars.
Everything comes back to Star Wars, but I would submit that it has even more of a connection to Harry Potter.
That's a good point.
This movie, I watched it about a week ago to familiarize myself with it, and I'm sorry, but it is Harry Potter. It is Harry Potter, and I find it interesting that Chris Columbus wrote the movie.
Oh, wow.
And obviously did not write Harry Potter, but directed the first two Harry Potters. And I'm wondering if, like, J.K. Rowling stole Harry Potter from this movie, and Chris Columbus said, well, the least you could do is let me direct Harry Potter. I'm sorry, because it just
at least the visual.
The vibe is all over
the
it.
vibe for sure. Mm-hmm.
Now, do you know if this was ever a book?
No.
No, this was just
It's
a
never
straight
book.
film,
It's
an adaptation.
It's a loose adaptation of a
Right.
couple of Sherlock Holmes novels, but is made clear.
Right.
It's a completely original story because Holmes and Watson did not meet until they were adults.
Right. Now, this is Young Sherlock Holmes from 1985. And we are watching a DVD version, which, from what I understand, there is no Blu-ray
Not yet.
At least at this point. As usual, I'll bet you by the time this airs, not only will there be a Blu-ray, but there'll be like whatever next format exists, that will
Well,
be...
that's because you're so slow in getting it done.
Yeah, it takes me time. So anyway, cue up your players, go to your menu, and right now I have it on where it says play, and I'm about to hit play now.
You know what I forgot? My pipe.
And your deerstalker hat.
Well, it's PG-13, and we were kind of mentioning earlier, this is probably one of the earlier PG-13 films, because that whole thing started around probably 84.
Yeah, this
is
was released,
85.
late 1985?
Yeah.
This is December 4th, 1985. And interestingly enough, you know, it's an Amblin production, and it's the only one that I could find that they did through Paramount.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else was mostly Universal, some Warner. Henry Winkler is one of the producers.
Wow.
Hey.
Sit on
Yes, it
Potsy.
is that Henry Winkler. It's not like the Gary Marshalls, right? Multiple
Now,
Gary Marshalls.
Chris
No,
Columbus
this is
at the time was a pretty hot commodity.
Yes.
He had come off of what, Gremlins?
Yeah, he wasn't he a
Oh, was that
co-writer?
Joe Dante? No, that was...
Joe Dante
Joe Dante
directed it, but it
directed,
did
yes.
Columbus, did he have
Columbus had something to
do
do with it, I
with it? I
think.
could swear he was a co-writer on it, but let's somebody find that out for me.
Now, we're starting right off. We're jumping into the story right away here.
Mm-hmm. Now, I want to start off my comments by saying, where is the love for this movie? This movie was not a success when it came out. I loved it right off the bat. I saw it and I loved it. And when I got it on VHS,
you're right.
I watched it over and over and over again. And, you know, they were sowing the seeds, I would say, for a possible franchise that never materialized.
Right. This was almost, you could almost say at the time, this was like a younger version of Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
They wanted that feel, I think, of it.
Well, I made the Harry Potter comment, but later on in the movie, sometimes it's going to be Harry Potter, sometimes it's going to be Temple of Doom.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But I guess at the time, we weren't ready for Harry Potter.
Maybe not, or I don't know if it was too British,
I think that the lack of recognizable actors was a stretch for people.
Yeah, but Harry Potter, there were nobodies back then.
Yes, but you
Yeah,
had
but you had the books.
The book is what really
Yeah.
exploded.
Sherlock Holmes, yes, it was a known commodity, a very well-known commodity.
It was kind of like Jaws. Jaws was a huge book success.
Right.
And they were just waiting for a movie to come out. Ugh.
There you go. Some practical effects.
There's your compound chicken.
Now, this is an animatronic, Carlos, would you say?
This is definitely an effect. I mean, a puppet.
Yeah.
Probably a rod puppet or something.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like something out of Jim Henson's.
It looks like from Labyrinth or something.
Yeah. And we are going to talk about this later because this movie had some very innovative special effects usage that we're later going to talk about.
20 minutes in.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think Steve has a point. I agree with Steve that
Already?
There you go. That there weren't recognizable actors, and Sherlock Holmes was more adult fare.
Right.
He's always been a popular character, but there's never been that sort of appeal to young people.
No,
and that's exactly what they were doing here. They were taking a more of an adult theme, if you will,
or an adult character,
and making it more kiddie.
Well, yeah, I mean, putting him in his younger years, making him relatable. I mean, this movie came out in 1985. I was 15. And
this is for the Goonies crowd. For the you want to go a step above Goonies, this is where you go next.
But I loved Goonies, but I loved this too. And I was really disappointed that nothing ever materialized. But yeah, you're dealing with an exclusively British cast, and even the older, more established actors, who as some of them show up, I'll talk about them. But U.S. audiences didn't know who they were, or if they did, they weren't big stars.
Not really. I couldn't tell you the majority of who these people are, even today.
Oops. Well, I did not see this in the theater.
Oh, wow.
But I know I saw the trailer in the theater, and I was very intrigued by it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it came out on home video, we rented it, and I think we bought it. And I don't know. I didn't really have any preconception about it. It was just like, all right, well, because in that day and age, we were just ingesting as many films as possible because it's the early to mid 80s. Wow, we have a VCR. We can watch all these movies as many times as we want.
Exactly.
And this being one of those that we probably watched, my brother and I, many times over. But I think the mystery aspect and not being so familiar with Sherlock Holmes, meaning that like up until this point, I knew of Sherlock Holmes, but I hadn't read any of the stories per se, and was just kind of also maybe connected to it because it was a younger story.
Sure.
And I think the reason that it does hold people's interest and maybe give you a reason to watch it is because we love origin stories.
Yes.
I mean, when we talk about, multi-arc films, usually the strongest one is the origin story because it's where practically nothing about the characters.
Right. Start from ground zero.
It's the freshest storytelling, right? And this, taking it even further, because this had never existed in the Doyle canon,
right?
That they did meet possibly, way back in the day at boarding school, which it does kind of make sense when you look at, future iterations of Sherlock Holmes and Watson, whether it's Elementary or Sherlock or any of these. Yeah. There's this relationship that's extremely complicated between Sherlock Holmes and Watson, and there are a lot of subtleties there.
Yeah. And
you can totally rationalize in your mind to say, hey, you know what? I totally could see that if they did meet when they were, adolescents, that this is how the relationship would have progressed,
Right.
Versus we just meet when we're adults. And we're so distinctly different. The other thing I like about this film is that you do kind of get to see maybe some of the motivation behind Holmes and why he is the way that he is.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He's somewhat of an enigma. You know, he has this ability to, through intuition, to really unravel puzzles in a very different way. You know, the way his brain works is much different from most people. And in this film in particular, the authorities, quote unquote, who are supposed to be solving these crimes.
Right.
But, you know, taking somebody like him, and, you know, we had an offline conversation about what makes a good partnership work. Usually the two partners are not very similar.
Right.
They make up for one another's shortcomings, and they also bring out the best in each other. And, you know, Watson and Holmes is a perfect case of that happening.
Absolutely. I just think we should mention some of the people's names that we saw in the credits. One that jumped out at me right away and might not be the most obvious was Stephen Norrington, the animatronics supervisor, director of Blade and director of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Stephen Goldblatt, the director of photography. He shot Lethal Weapon 1 and 2. He shot Outland, The Hunger, Cotton Club, Everybody's All American, Joe versus the Volcano, Batman Forever, Batman and Robin. And you Lucasfilm guys, you know who Norman Reynolds is.
Norman Reynolds is a big shot in Lucas history. It's also funny that you mentioned, obviously Steven Spielberg is all over this film. And this is a period of time where every other film,
the world.
Yeah.
Right, every other film was Steven Spielberg Presents. And that's when you have your Kathleen Kennedys and your Frank Marshalls and all that crew that would, you know, permeate the 80s like crazy.
Yeah, I mean, this has the Spielberg-Lucas imprint all over it.
Yeah. And this is also something that even though they collaborated in a lot of films as producers or whatever, that Lucas would always, even though he's not directly connected to this film in that manner, but Lucas would always take a back seat. He always feels more comfortable letting Spielberg be the pitch man.
Yeah.
And Lucas is quietly in the back, I don't know, counting the dollars or something. The credits were also kind of old-timey looking credits.
The credits were an homage to the Basil Rathbone Sherlock Holmes films. And speaking, just one last person.
Well, Barry Levinson.
Barry Levinson.
Yeah.
Like, of all the people, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love him, but I really don't know how he came to this project. It's not your typical Levinson project.
I almost think most of the time it's Chris Columbus's film than Barry Levinson's film.
Exactly. And, you know, he was at the time, he was in the midst of like his Baltimore trilogy.
Yeah.
And this is right before Good Morning Vietnam. This is after Diner. You know,
Right before Tin Men.
Tin Men. Yeah. It's just it's an interesting departure for him. And I think he does a fantastic job. Don't get me wrong. But you have this incredible confluence of talent.
Right.
For this film. And I mean, the three of us agree it works and it works well, but it just did not hit the zeitgeist or whatever you want to say. It you know, and I think Steve's point is well taken why it might not have been successful.
I think my biggest disappointment with this film, without spoiling it too much, is that
we assume people have seen this
yeah
movie.
yeah and we are going to spoil it because obviously we're going to talk about it. Is that the fact that a lot of these things have to do with hallucinations to me deflates what you see. So in other words, in the 80s, we're seeing movies like Ghostbusters, and you know, you see these very grand special effect
and they're real
spectacles, and it's really happening
in the context
of the story. But here, after a while, you kind of know, oh, that was just a hallucination, so that guy was losing his mind type of deal.
But I think within the construct of it being a Sherlock Holmes story, it works perfect.
Oh, it makes sense.
And I think if you go into it knowing that, or at least willing to accept that, you know, your mind goes to a different place.
Right. Sherlock Holmes will never be dealing with laser beams or
the supernatural, because I've only read one Sherlock Holmes book in my entire life, and that was The Hound of the Baskervilles.
They try to keep them grounded.
You know, and that particular story was, the construct was supposedly supernatural, and Holmes debunks it by the end of the book. And it's been adapted as a film many times. So you're never going to see him do that.
Which is a reason also, it's a bizarre reason, but it's also a weird thing how, in a way, it's kind of like Harry Potter films.
Well, his Hogwarts
but
right
not.
here.
Yeah.
But not.
His Hogwarts without the magic.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
It's a strip away all the
And
supernatural.
you look at Alan Cox and you're just like, oh my God, there he is. And then the scarves and the whole boarding school element. And I think the pairing of Nicholas Rowe and Alan Cox, I mean, you talk about various Holmes and Watsons over the years. You have Basil Rathbone and Nigel Bruce.
Wow.
Other famous, Benedict Cumberbatch and Frodo, or Bilbo,
And Martin Freeman.
and Martin Freeman. And I think they hold up.
How cool would it have been if these actors would have been kids at the time acting in these films?
I mean, but
little cameos.
But the point is, the two of them are terrific. They are Holmes and Watson, especially Nicholas Rowe. I mean, he's a British actor of mostly theater background, and he's done. Both of these guys have maintained their careers in the years since this. This is what they're most well known for, but they're successful theater actors, and they really nail their characters.
Was this film, do you know, respected in England at all, or is it because it's American they kind of poo-poo all over?
I don't know. Here's Draco Malfoy. I mean, I'm sorry, Dudley. Dudley. No, you know what? In all honesty, I don't know if it was better received in England than it was in the United States. But I can just imagine, and, if anybody from England is listening to this, I apologize. But I could imagine them kind of sneering at it
Bastardizing it.
because it's a sort of... Well, I'll tell you. I mean, what I do know for a fact is that the Holmes fans were not happy with this movie.
Really?
And that there was a real sort of backlash against it, and that's why there's a tag at the beginning and there's a tag at the end.
Yes.
There's two to
Right.
say it's not original. It's not. We're just kind of playing around here, and we hope you like it.
Just like when we always say we're not experts at this.
Right.
We
Is that
make
our
mistakes.
disclaimer right now?
We're not experts. We might
wove
make
it into the story.
mistakes.
But just in doing some research, for the commentary, I found a website called Baker Street .wiki, and they mention what some of the inspiration might have been for Columbus to actually write the story, and they make reference to some stories where Holmes is kind of in his 20s. One being
really?
The Adventure of Gloria Scott, and the other being The Adventure of the Musgrave Ritual. So basic story elements. You can kind of see the thread back to some of those, pyramids and kind of rituals. But again, I think the same could be said for most of the stories, in that, they do have some, common plot devices, whether it's about the occult or,
Right.
Something supernatural. And hallucinations were part of the Hounds of the Baskerville.
Yes. Okay. Now, Rupert Waxflatter is played by Nigel Stock. Now, something that you're going to see with a couple of actors in this movie that had a prior association with Sherlock Holmes. Nigel Stock played Watson. In the 60s, there was a BBC television series, which I have actually seen several episodes of, where Peter Cushing was Sherlock Holmes, and Nigel Stock was Watson. And it was probably about a 4-year series, and that's something he was very well known for. I mean, he plays like...
I saw the lines. They could not even... Obviously, digitally, they could not delete lines.
Just rotoscope them out.
It's funny, because every time they show you this flying machine, they try not to show you a portion of it.
Right.
This way they could attach wires to that portion of it.
Right.
But we just saw them.
We saw them. Sophie Ward, who plays... was it Elizabeth? Yeah,
Elizabeth, right.
Yeah.
The other film that she's somewhat known for, and that has a very heavy Lucas connection, is Return to Oz. She plays like one of the well, I don't even know how to describe it. One of the villainess of the movie. She plays like she's not the villain, but she plays like a robot construct of her.
That's one of these 80s films that are connected to Lucas that I've never really revisited, like Labyrinth or Return to Oz.
I like both. I like Labyrinth and I like Return to Oz. And I think it was, who directed it? I don't know, but it was a Lucas associate who directed Return to Oz.
Was it Murch?
Walter Murch?
Well, could it be Walter Murch?
Could be. I could look it up. But yes, and again, she's also a lot of these actors have maintained their careers in the almost 30 years since
Walter
the movie.
Murch.
Walter Murch, okay. Well, a lot of these older guys, they look familiar. They just don't hit you as stars. They've been in a million films.
Columbus did write Gremlins, by the way.
He did write it? Good.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay, glad we knew that.
So, Mom, don't write me any nasty notes.
Whose mom? Your mom or my mom?
All our moms.
They're our biggest fans, yeah.
Yeah. But they really, the older actors that we've seen and will see, have they had long and distinguished careers, but we just in this country we didn't know who they were. There we go.
Hey, it's Hugh Jackman.
Anthony Higgins.
Oh, close enough.
The fencing scenes apparently were shot at Penhurst Place in Kent.
Ooh, Delio.
Oh,
Anthony Higgins also has played Sherlock Holmes.
he has.
In some television iterations and also in the theater.
I don't understand why whenever they have a fencing scene and they protect their chest, why don't they have something protecting lower than the chest? Because I always would be terrified that somebody will miss your stomach and hit you right in the crotch.
I don't know. Maybe they have a cup. I don't know. I'm not a fencing expert.
See? It's like, you could just...
Yeah.
I wasn't aware there'd be fencing questions.
Yeah, I wasn't either. I have a spider
you're not prepared for that?
coming down from my mic.
A what?
A spider.
Oh, just flick it.
I'm hoping he bites me.
It's an
when I get
Oscorp spider,
radioactive
so
powers.
Oscorp.
be careful.
Be careful. Hey, if it works out, he bites me.
You're set.
Yeah, you guys can do a big commentary about my life.
Oh,
Anthony
pizza.
Higgins. Was something else I want to point out about a lot of these actors. So many of them had been in Hammer horror films. Anthony Higgins had been in Taste the Blood of Dracula with Christopher Lee. He was also in a film called Vampire Circus. And some other actors, and I'll mention them as we see them. It was almost... if you're a British actor and you weren't in a Bond film or a Hammer film,
Quit your job.
then you weren't an actor. I think he's terrific. And we all know who he really is.
He's Wolverine.
He's Wolverine.
That's exactly
Nice.
it.
Uh-oh.
Are they going to choose what? Going to get the hat out and choose what?
Yeah, where are the flying owls?
With which school? Who's going to be in Gryffindor?
The Gryffindor.
There's Richard Harris.
Candles are floating.
There's
Well, J.K. Rowling did specifically pursue Chris Columbus. I'm sure in no small parts of this film.
No kidding. I mean,
gotta,
there's your blueprint right there. At least for your visuals.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm sure she owes Chris Columbus a few bucks.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be a Gryffindor. I want to be a dentist.
Here's the line.
I
I
know
never
where
want
he
to be
wants
alone.
to be in.
Wow. By the way, just speaking of Hammer,
Yes?
I can remember seeing a picture of Anthony Higgins in a book that I have, which
Okay.
next time you guys come over, remind me to see if I can find it. I think I might have got it from my uncle, but
Okay.
it has basically the entire Hammer history in it.
Oh, okay.
And there were pictures of him in it. So when I saw this movie, I said, wait, why do I know this guy?
Right,
You
yeah.
know?
he was a very young man, but he was in these movies in the late 60s and early 70s. I'm pleased to say that Sophie Ward has maintained her looks. She's still quite an attractive lady.
That little dog looks like the dog from The Mask.
Yeah, it does.
Smoking.
Uh-oh. Evil guy. There's the Dementos.
Oh, here we go, guys. Very important scene. Very important scene in the annals
Of film history.
of film history, of special effects history.
Of Pixar,
Yeah, I mean, you guys,
eventually.
take the reins on this one.
I believe this
It's the first.
this was followed. The next big step after what we're about to see, it was Willow in terms of special effects, digital morphing technology.
Yeah, Willow had morphing.
Yeah. This was the big first. I mean, it's hard to really put your finger on it. Some people say Star Trek 2 was the first all digital scene.
Yeah. But here you have a digital character in a real environment.
Interacting with real characters.
And it's pretty amazing.
So you can say this is the granddaddy of Jurassic Park. This is the granddaddy of Jar Jar Binks. Of Planet of the Apes, the current Planet of the Apes.
Well, and we know that
T-1000.
Spielberg studied this film in particular, going all the way back to, all right, well, let me look at the first instance of this occurring to see, can we pull this off?
Right.
And it's the night. Well, if you keep your eyes on the night, you're going to see.
Can I believe Murin and what he's telling me we can do,
Right. And it holds up.
You could see through it and wait till you see the camera go through it.
I love this. And I love the camera motion of the scene.
Look, there it is right there. This scene right there. That movement where you see both sides, that probably took about 6 months to do.
God.
Well, and the physical, process involved, we're not talking somebody sitting on a computer and creating this. This CG character had to be scanned and painted directly onto the film itself using a laser.
Oops! Someone order a,
and
a
you
garbage
have
truck.
you have a moving camera. So again, talk about some heavy rotoscoping. I mean, this is just so tedious.
And it was John Lasseter, right?
John Lasseter oversaw it. Yes.
It fits well. It doesn't call too much attention to
No.
itself.
I mean,
It blends in.
Yeah, it's pretty brief.
It's 30 seconds, maybe.
I mean, if
And
you
then everything else is practical.
right, if you don't know at the time how it was done, you probably are thinking this was probably some kind of a plastic or translucent rod puppet that they got to move around on it somehow. But no, this was actual CGI.
No, he's gonna say the words.
Mm-hmm. Is afoot.
Oh, everyone's leaving Hogwarts.
And I don't know if it's the right combination of Spielberg with Chris Columbus.
Is it John Williams we're listening to?
No, Bruce Broughton did
Really?
did the music. But they really, I mean, even though this is about as far away from Goonies in certain respects, tonally, there are similar. I mean, they really knew how to create this sort of family-friendly entertainment.
Yeah.
But it wasn't sappy or ridiculous.
Well, Goonies, what I remember that bothered me the most was it was loud. Everybody was screaming.
Yeah.
It's like a bunch of little. It's like going to a restaurant with little kids. It's like, shut up.
I'll be honest with you. I like this movie a lot better than Goonies.
Yes, me too.
I like Goonies.
Yes.
But this movie spoke to me.
I agree with Steve.
About time.
I don't know. The Goonies has a special place in my
Goonies, look.
heart.
It's not a criticism of Goonies by any stretch of the imagination. It's just, I don't know. I kind of.
Well, I think this adventure and this mystery is more intellectual.
Yeah.
So, you're more invested as opposed to, I wonder where these kids are going and who, Chester Cobblepot is.
Well, it's more dramatic. This is more dramatic.
And I have to say, there are certain characters in Goonies that, quite frankly, I find
Chunk.
Chunk.
Data.
Here, I guess I was a little predisposed to the Holmes and Watson. My dad liked Sherlock Holmes, and he liked characters like the Lone Ranger and sort of old-timey characters, and I sort of felt a little connected to them even before this movie. I also like Gremlins better than Goonies. Like Goonies.
Oh yeah,
for me,
yeah.
Goonies is like on the lower end of.
Yes.
It's not a bad movie, but
It's not a Howard the Duck.
Oh God, no. I'm not saying it's bad.
But it's not Gremlins.
It's just not. It doesn't hold that appeal to me. When you think of the other Amblin movies, E.T. Back to the Future.
No, that's top A entertainment.
Those are Roger Rabbit. I like all those movies more than Goonies.
Yes, I agree.
But you look at it. You look at what Amblin put out. By the way, trivia question, which I'm sure you guys would not know, and I would not know. I only know because the answer's right in front of me. What is the first Amblin film? The first film produced by Amblin. It's not what you think.
It's not E.T.?
It's not E.T.
Was it 19...
No. No. It's none of Spielberg's movies.
Oh, wow. What is it?
It's not... E.T. is actually the second one. It's Continental Divide.
Jeez.
Oh, wow. That's a happy movie.
Uh-oh, Malfoy's angry.
He's going to weave a spell of homunculus or something.
He's like, one day I'm going to hold an Oscar just like this. Maybe not.
Amblin, some of the other films, they did The Money Pit, Harry and the Hendersons, which I like.
Mm-hmm.
I like Harry and the
Again,
Hendersons.
Steven Spielberg presents.
Inner Space.
Inner Space was good. I like
love
that.
Inner Space.
Inner Space is fantastic.
Yes, that was a fun one.
I love that. Batteries Not Included, which is kind of cheesy, but I liked it.
Did they do Explorers?
No.
No, that was separate. That was...
They did Always,
Dante.
Joe versus a Volcano, Arachnophobia,
Oh, jeez.
Empire of the Sun. Well,
Empire of the Sun was pretty good.
He directed that. Cape Fear. They did a lot. They did so many. The Flintstones, Casper. And you know what? You talk about nailing the relationship. That's the Holmes Watson dynamic is there's affection there. He might basically call him stupid, but there's this real affection between Holmes and Watson.
This has a very Beauty and the Beast feel to it.
Yes. Some of the wax flatter buffoonery can get a little much. And the music, it's not John Williams, but it's very John Williams.
I know, sounds...
It's got that...
Oh.
You didn't get fault with that at all.
Ouch.
It's too heavy. Come on, Watson. Build that thing for him, will you?
Yeah, seriously. That's a cool set.
Mm.
Very Jules Verne-ish.
Yes.
Very Jules Verne. That was good.
Can I sleep now?
Yeah, you
Wow.
can sleep now. Yeah, go ahead. We'll call you if they start speaking
See,
Spanish.
he's contributing.
He is. I'm shocked. Okay, this guy,
Inspector Lestrade.
Lestrade. Now, Carlos, does he look familiar to you?
Lestat? Isn't that Tom Cruise?
No, that's a
Jesus.
vampire Lestat.
Well, he looks like a lot of actors that I've seen recently.
Yes, he is.
He's not the guy that played...
Cocky Duty?
No.
Wow.
Roger Ashton-Griffiths? Come on, Carlos. You've
is he?
seen him.
All right, tell me.
Mace Tyrell from Game of Thrones.
What?
He's in the last season of Game of Thrones,
I can't
season
picture
4.
Terrell.
Lord Mace Tyrell.
Not Tyrell from Blade Runner.
I was gonna say he looks like the guy from Capote.
That's
No, that's Philip Seymour Hoffman.
who is not with us anymore.
He's no longer of this earth.
No, the other guy, the guy from Winter Soldier.
Toby Jones.
Yeah, he looks like him a
he
little
does
Toby
look
Jo-
like
he
him.
does with the glasses. Yeah.
Can I please go to sleep now?
Yeah, all right.
I'm so done.
You know, you've earned it.
Thank you.
You've
Good night.
earned it. Steve and I can carry the rest of
I'll
this.
be shutting down for the day, sir. Pew.
I mean, I know Sherlock Holmes is kind of intellectual.
Listen,
for you.
I watch the
heady
British
stuff.
Sherlock Holmes and I watch Elementary.
See, not to go too far off on a tangent, and I don't want to sound
I'm
like a snob.
bicontinental.
I'm a little. Ooh,
Bicontinental.
I love Sherlock, Benedict Cumberbatch, and Bilbo.
Cumbersnatch.
And you know what's funny? It came out before Elementary,
Yeah.
and I have to admit, total snobbery here. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Johnny Lee, what's his face,
Haley Miller.
dare
and
you.
Lucy Liu. I'm like, really? No. And I mean, it's turned into this big hit, but I don't watch it.
I do. I like it.
Yeah, Steve, ever give it a shot?
No, I've never
flavor.
watched it.
But I do like the Sherlock.
Oh, the BBC is just fantastic. And that's the thing about Sherlock Holmes. He's in the public domain, so anybody can use him.
Dude, we should do it ourselves.
Yeah, we should. Who would be Holmes and Watson and Moriarty?
Tony would be Holmes.
Yeah, so who would be Watson? Rob?
I don't know.
Nobody knows who we're talking about. I'm sorry. You know, come on, J.K. Rowling. You stole... That's Draco.
He's such a bastard.
I hate his hair.
He's not even using a real pen. That's the lamb chops my son wants to grow.
This guy's such a tool.
He'll get his.
I don't like him. This guy now reminds me again, Harry Potter. That the first
Snape?
movie, the guy with the he had that head. He was hiding the thing on his head.
Oh,
On the turban?
Yeah. Quirrell, Professor Quirrell.
Yeah. Because he kind of
was-
like admires Harry, but he also has to be the teacher, so
Right.
he kind of is on his side, but really he's not.
Now, you know what's interesting? Nicholas Rowe hasn't done a whole lot of films. And I can't honestly say I remember him from, like, he was in Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, he's sort of peppered his films. He hasn't done many. But in 2004, he was in Seed of Chucky.
Yeah, what
You know
are you
what that-
thinking
you
with
know
that
what
one?
that tells me?
Yeah.
You know what that tells me? Coke money.
Coke money.
Coke money.
Hey, at least Anthony Higgins was in Raiders.
Uh-oh, I don't like the sound of
And
that.
you know, I'm always fascinated by how, you know, actors
Whoa.
move from one film to the next. So we have all these Spielberg connections here.
Wow.
You know, he was in Raiders, but then you also have the component of
That's right. Anthony Higgins is in Raiders.
He plays one of the Nazis.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gabler, I think, Gobler. So,
You said these actors
so the
move through
location
movies.
of where they shoot. So, you know, if we look at Star Wars, we look at Raiders, based on the locale, it informed quite a bit of who they cast for the film.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like, yeah, we're just casting in Hollywood and we're going to bring all these people
Right,
with us.
right.
No, not at all. You know, they're picking up local actors and, you know, for some substantial supporting roles.
Right.
But that's a lot of times that's part of the laws of the country that you're going to work here, you're going
A
to
certain
hire
percentage,
25% of your crew, 25% of your
Absolutely.
cast, you know, whatever.
And I've actually, you know, kind of pointed this out to death for some of the movies that we've already commented on, like Star Wars and like Raiders.
Raiders, yeah.
Is you use these British actors, and for the even smaller parts, they're all dubbed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all dubbed. I actually watched, just the other night, I watched the original Hellraiser, and that's shot in England, set in England. It does have an American leading man, but all the actors are dubbed. Almost all the actors.
Not only that,
not well either.
No.
Not only that, but that's a big point of contention with a lot of voice actors is that they have still to this day never gotten the credit that they feel they deserve for doing all the voice work that they never get credited for when they dub foreign actors.
Right.
Even Star Wars is full of them.
Well, and just to go back to Doug Bradley, who plays Pinhead in Hellraiser, we had done a commentary on Nightbreed last year, and he plays Lylesburg, one of the members of the breed, and he's dubbed in that movie, but in the director's cut, he gives his own vocal performance. They let him do his own ADR.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the more known people that did that sort of work was Harry Shearer, the comedian. He apparently did some work for Star Wars, believe it or not.
Oh, is that right?
I don't know exactly what he did. I forget. But
that's interesting.
He was never credited for it. And again, it's all these British pilots. It's all the pilots and when you have a big crew of people, they had to dub them all.
What's interesting is Anthony Higgins. Apparently, there was another British actor named Anthony Higgins, and in his early career, like when he did the Hammer films, he was credited as Anthony Corlin.
Right?
Really?
Well, we notice the time frame of this film is supposed to be right around Christmas.
Yes.
And it takes place over, I guess it's probably only a few weeks, right?
Yeah.
But they did some shooting at Oxford University, and apparently the fake snow damaged some of the landscaping at Oxford.
My God.
So Spielberg ponied up some money to pay for the damages that they had made, because it's snowing throughout the entire film.
Yeah.
What's that snow made of?
Potato flakes.
Asbestos?
Right. Well, it was the early 80s, so
Who cares?
Looking the
What
other
could
way.
happen?
We're shooting internationally. But by the way, that stained glass night apparently took I.L.M 4 months to create that. 4 months.
Wow.
This to me reminds me of Ray Harryhausen.
Yes, it does.
Oh, yes.
Now,
And this is
stop
total
motion.
Harryhausen.
It's
Yeah.
all stop motion, obviously. I wonder if... Yeah, it has to be stop motion. I was going to say, could it be go motion? But it doesn't move like go motion.
All right.
And go motion never went anywhere.
I was
really.
going to say, can you explain Go Motion to me?
If you think of stop motion as moving a piece, a little character, a little piece at a time.
Yes.
Go motion had some rods attached to it that would move it to generate the blur needed that you don't have with stop motion. With stop motion, everything looks super sharp.
Yeah.
Because it's being shot one frame at a time.
Right.
So you never see a blur. It's super sharp no matter what happens. With go motion, they were trying to replicate the blur that you normally get with moving
So
action.
you were getting a more realistic
looking. And if you look at the movie Dragon Slayer, that was the big go motion movie ever made. But it never really took off. I'm not sure exactly why. The other thing about go motion is that I don't know exactly where do they hide the rods that are actually connecting. I'm not sure how they hide those things.
And was Go Motion around this time in the 80s? Or
Yeah, it was 82 was, I think Dragon Slayer was 81 or 82. Yeah. But like I said, it never really took off.
Well, I could bring up a movie. I know you deny its existence, but in Alien 3, they have a rod puppet alien, and it's like CGI, and
When's that coming out?
it's coming out in 1992.
I can't wait to see it, dude. Oh, I love his hat. Is that a man or a woman?
By the way, no, that's a dude. The blowpipe is another homage to a Holmes story, The Sign of Four.
Oh, that's
Poison Dart.
That's a classic. Mm-hmm. That's been adapted many times. So, I mean, Columbus, he cribbed from a lot of the best stories.
Listen, go hunt the Red Skull and leave me alone, buddy.
No, it's go work for the Red Skull.
Dibs on the lab.
Now the Wax Flatter's death kind of kicks the movie into high gear.
How could they bury him? The ground is frozen solid. They don't have mechanical equipment to dig holes in the ground.
I'm sure they buried people in the winter, back in the day.
Well, put them in the freezer till the spring.
Freezer.
How do we feel about the voiceover element to the film?
Was that always intentional?
I don't know about that, but it's actually, I'm glad Steve brought that up, because I always felt across the board, narration is sort of a dumbing down of the film.
I don't think
I'm not necessarily like violently opposed to it, but
to me it sounds like a Disney cartoon. And then
and it's like, okay, exposition. If we're not getting the exposition from a character, we're going to use narration.
To me, it sounds like the Sleepy Hollow story on Disney, the cartoon, and then Ichabod Crane thought about blah blah blah.
Well,
dude,
I would have to say that in this instance, nice map painting.
Nice. Yeah.
I appreciate it because it's used somewhat sparingly.
True.
There is a literary connection to the story, so one would anticipate, maybe some sort of narration.
Right. Watson was an author.
And also it does help fill in some of the gaps because, again, we don't have a lot of well-known, as far as an American audience is concerned, even if it's a younger audience, who are all these people?
Right.
Help me understand who all these different older gentlemen are.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No,
and especially that one right there where he talks about it's an enhancement to the relationship between Watson and Holmes, where he says, I only saw him cry twice in my
it's foreshadowing
in his entire life,
yeah.
This being the first,
right?
And we see later on the second time, and then that's it. So basically they're setting us up for why is Holmes the way he is when he's an adult.
Exactly. Also, the just another point of trivia, the guy who does the narration is a British actor named Michael Hordrin. He played Marley's ghost in the one of the most famous adaptations of Scrooge with Alastair Sim.
Oh boy.
In 1951.
It's my dad's favorite.
My favorite too. And he also played Scrooge himself in a BBC adaptation in the late 70s. I only know this because I'm a Scrooge fanatic,
mm-hmm.
and I love anybody who's involved with Scrooge.
Mm-hmm.
Watson as a character, I think, has always been the audience's through line into the story. Mm-hmm. He's the surrogate for us, because Holmes is just Holmes. I mean, he's on another plane of existence, this guy. Speaking of different iterations of Sherlock Holmes, we've mentioned a few. How do you gents feel about Robert Downey and Jude Law?
It's a more action-y version.
Yeah. I mean, the problem I have with it is not necessarily Robert Downey Jr. or Jude Law. It's more Guy Ritchie. I just, I thought that when I first started watching his films that I would like them more, but I kind of feel
it's action comedy
that he's very much one speed.
Yeah, I like Guy Ritchie's Brit stuff like Lock, Stock, and Snatch.
Really?
And,
I don't really like.
No,
those
I
that
do.
much.
I confess, I do like them.
I'd rather watch his Sherlock stuff.
I'd sooner watch that stuff than the Sherlock stuff. I love Robert Downey as an actor. I love him, but I just don't buy him as Sherlock. Mm-hmm. His take, as Carlos pointed out, action comedy, I think it takes it to a place that it was never meant to go.
It felt like a cartoon to me.
Yeah.
Very cartoonish.
And
the visuals also with all that bullet time looking stuff that he does.
Yeah, I'm so done with that. But when I think of a Holmes adaptation, this is what I think of, in all honesty. And I think if you're going to try and imprint that style onto Sherlock Holmes, I would imagine, again, I haven't really been paying attention, but that the Holmes purists would be angrier at that than this.
Yeah.
This is a... This
but
does everything.
Isn't Guy Ritchie
British?
Yeah. Yes.
So
that doesn't mean
they'll cut him a break because of that.
Well, that's a big sweeping generalization, don't you think?
If it's American, they're gonna piss all over it.
It's the American audiences who make them, how their, success. This to me is at least, if it's not an adaptation, but it's
Very nice.
Very nice. It's faithful in tone. I love these like crusty old British guys.
Would
like
you like
Marty
to buy a
Feldman on,
wand?
Marty Feldman.
On Young Frankenstein with the eye. Ah.
It's a wand shop. Ollivanders. The Rametep.
Steve needs
That
his medicine.
music. It's what 1985 this came out, right?
Yep.
So many years later,
You still
I can
got the
still
theme.
whistle that
And
tune.
you haven't seen this movie in how long?
In a long time. But my brother would know it as well.
That's great.
Give me an 8-ball.
An 8-ball.
And I think it's fun, you know, again, Steve pointed out, like you're seeing he's going to buy the pipe, it's fun to see their take on, how he got the hat, how he got the pipe, how he got the cloak. I shall learn to smoke it.
So now we're really getting into the underbelly of the story. And it's going to take us to a whole new destination, but we're still in England, which is amazing. It's like, wow, to think that somebody would do this,
Where's Salah?
Salah.
Salah. Bad dates.
Bad dates.
Where's the monkey man with the motorcycle?
I'll hit that. Sieg Heil. Sieg Heil. Sieg Heil.
I am
we
the
go.
Sultan of the sea. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. He's angry. What does that mean? How do you happen on something? What?
No
Say again?
subtitles. Carlos, can you translate?
He said, everybody pull out your guns. That's like something a Muppet would use as a weapon.
Is that Watto?
Watto.
He does look like that. The guy does look like that.
Annie,
the actor.
little Annie.
I don't know what you're doing here. You want to buy
What
something?
happened, you Annie? Hey, what do you know?
Why are you so angry?
Mr. Clumsy.
Missa.
Oh, I'm shuddering.
Sorry to poison this commentary with Jar Jar Binks, but you never know where the road will take us.
You can't be sure. And, we're all in Lucas Spielberg land.
Yeah.
It's going to come
On a
up.
puffy cloud.
Now, what I like, too, about where this is going is he's linking it to, real history, British imperialism, the sacredness of the tombs and, the raiding of tombs.
It's
and
very Raiders-ish.
there you go,
Yes.
Raiders, yeah. But no, he's rooting it in history.
This is 85, so this is post Temple of Doom, before Last Crusade.
Right.
Okay.
Nice, keeping continuity with his little scar, his little facial scar.
From The Ring.
Now we'll now do some experiments. Holmes, prepare some rails for me.
I think she's gorgeous. I'm sorry. I know it's not really relevant to the discussion, but I really like her.
Do you need a moment alone?
You
want us to leave the room?
No, I could. I'll wait till later.
You know what it is? It's her exposure of all that neck that's really doing it for him.
Yeah, right.
All that cheek.
That neck is turning me on, man.
I love a British accent. I'm sorry. I just love a British accent.
By the way, this is some deep trivia, but they just showed the dog there.
Uncas?
Uncas. Do you know what Uncas means?
I have not a clue.
Uncas is named after a portion of the brain associated with seizures.
Oh my God.
Seizures that develop from the uncus are often preceded by hallucinations.
Oh,
Booyah!
Deep trivia. Nice.
You just got Steved.
Frogget and Frogget. The game is afoot. Yeah,
You
we
said
get
that
you.
already.
Yeah, the
You
game
already
is
said
afoot.
that.
It's still afoot. Hasn't it always been afoot?
Maybe it's the other foot. The game is the other foot.
Avengers Assemble.
But the game is a
Game is a
yard.
feet.
A meter? The game is a meter.
Maybe it should be feet.
Now we're in the metric system.
Oh, that's right.
Metric system. They got the metric system.
Royale with cheese.
Cheese.
They wouldn't know what to,
It's a metric system.
you wouldn't know what a quarter pounder is. Sorry, I swore. It's
See,
PG-13
now,
though.
Now they're visiting where they bought the gremlin at the Mugwai.
Yes.
Okay. Mogwai.
Mugwai.
J.K. Rowling, apparently, I came across some of my notes here.
She did?
J.K. Rowling
Hi,
chose
JK.
Chris Columbus personally for directing Harry Potter. I didn't know that. Well, it was news to me. And like I said, she owes him
Well,
a few
if
bucks.
you want this feel, you got that feel.
That's
the
obviously what
feel.
she wanted. Now, I think we should post the link for this when we post the commentary.
Yes.
Great.
More work for me. Great.
Oh, get over yourself.
Ooh, rats.
Nicholas Rowe and Alan Cox reprised the roles in a few sketches that they did for something called Improvathon.
Is that
in
the thing you
England.
showed us?
That's the thing I sent you guys.
Oh, okay.
It was a 50-hour theatrical event which occurred in 2010, and they
But they didn't do 50
no,
hours.
they didn't do 50 hours, but they probably did about an hour's worth of kind of like it was improv sketches of them as Holmes and Watson wearing the same outfits. I mean, the exact same outfits, and people just ate it up.
Well, if they do a Blu-ray, they should include that.
They should. They really should.
And now it's Goonies.
And now it's Goonies. It was very shortly into Temple of Doom.
There you go. Exactly. Goonies meets the Temple of Doom.
Well, Columbus wrote that one too, so
What, Goonies?
yeah.
Jesus, Sky.
Best.
What
Was he
didn't
also
he
involved
do?
in
What
Adventures in
didn't he
Babysitting? Was he Adventures in Babysitting?
Yes, he directed it.
He directed
That's
that.
a great movie.
I
by the
love
way.
that movie.
It's one of my favorites.
I just watched that. Vincent D'Onofrio is Thor, sort of.
That's right.
That is such a fun movie.
Oh, here's the song. The Thunderball. The Thunderball. The Thunderball.
What is the
Why is the
find the
floor so
lyrics to
crunchy,
this.
Dr. Jones?
what is the chant in Temple of Doom? Do we remember? I can't remember. There's a chant.
Num Shiva?
No,
That's the guy who's
no.
praying.
Yeah, he's about to get. He's about to get.
Dun,
his-
dun, 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 dun,
Oh,
dun,
but
dun.
it wasn't a
Kalima.
vocal thing.
Yeah, there's some words. It's a whole.
I was trying to remember it when I watched this last week. What the chanting was in Temple of Doom. This is a hell of a set.
Yeah.
It's also a little bit of the Well of the Souls, with all the Egyptian looking
Yeah.
statues. Sounds like Conan.
Yes,
you know,
very much like Conan.
It makes me wonder though. Like, you talk about it's Holmes was always about debunking the supernatural. They couldn't really, to stay true to the Holmes character, you didn't delve into the supernatural. But something like Indy and Raiders,
Oh, they went hog
right
wild.
into it. Right
Look,
into
it's the camel from the cigarette company.
Yeah.
Or Alf, either one.
Hey, Willie. What's going on? Where's Lucky?
Dig those tails, huh?
Yeah, look at that. These are great sets.
It's the Hare Krishnas.
This is pretty. Here we go, PG-13, because this gets a little freaky.
This is just like Temple of Doom. Remember, they're looking through the
Yes.
through
Yeah.
the thing. They're looking down on it.
Temple of Doom was only a year before. Yeah, that's another thing. You talk about the narration, Steve, that they explain it later in the final.
Oh, come on.
What?
They lifting of the thing like Doom also?
Oh, yeah. But, like, where do these girls come from? I mean, they use a throwaway line at the end of the movie to explain where they come from. But,
They're what, runaways?
Yeah, they're like runaways,
people?
street girls, yeah. He's kind of running around unnoticed. It's kind of, hey, there's Lobot.
Uh-oh. Molaram.
Molaram. Om Nam Shiva.
Om Nam
Om Nam Shiva. Om Nam Shiva. Om Nam Shiva. Kalima Shakti De.
You gotta rip his friggin' heart right out and show
Was
it
that
to
a
him.
wireless pack?
Yeah, what the hell is that?
You're doing a commentary. Shit. We're podcasting live from the sacrifice of
The Ramateb.
Betty Lou Smith.
Oh, they didn't have a volcano, so they're going to just throw in an acid.
That's right. It's acid, right? Yeah.
Is it acid or is it like boiling wax?
Yeah, it's
like hot wax.
It's gonna hurt.
Ooh, the ram is going to vomit.
Ow.
Oh, that's not good.
Stop! She's alive.
This might sting a little. Whoa, I like those hoods.
Oh no.
See, right there, that's Wraith's voice. I mean, I don't know if I certainly didn't pick up on it when I saw it the first time.
No, I had no idea.
Indy, throw me the idol.
Throw me the whip.
No time to argue.
Dun, 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 dun,
I love
dun,
it. The
dun,
pyramid
dun.
inside.
That is wild.
Look out. Oh no.
It's the Hobitos.
No, Jovitos.
Except
If
you can't see the
only-
junk.
That's right. If only you spoke Jovitos. Dokana Matusu.
Hakana
Hakuna
Matsuda.
Matata. Hakuna Matata. No, that's something
Yeah, it
else.
does kind of sound like Hakuna Matata.
If he only spoke Hobitos. I guess they don't know you like I do, Belloc.
And actually, Anthony Higgins reminds me a lot of Paul Freeman, who plays Belloc.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Is this a Hammer movie now?
And now we get into
Sound of Music? Is that the graveyard from Sound of Music?
Curse of Dracula? You expect Peter Cushing to walk out in a
Christopher Lee.
Someone left this wooden
When
stake
did Cushing
here.
die? What year? 70s or 80s?
Peter Cushing died in 1994.
94?
Yeah. 20 years.
Wow.
20 years.
I thought he died way earlier than that.
No.
94, wow.
Peter Cushing, one of British cinema's greatest Sherlock Holmes. Not only did he play Sherlock Holmes on television with the wax flatter, but he played it in a Hammer film. He played it in the Hound of the Baskervilles in 1959. Christopher Lee was in that as Lord Baskerville. That's a great movie.
Didn't he also play Doctor Who?
Peter Cushing played Doctor Who in 2 movies, and those movies aren't considered part of the canon.
Right. Meanwhile, in the Temple of the Souls,
Meanwhile, in
Yeah, right.
Poltergeist, you
the
just move-
Serpent and the Rainbow.
Serpent in the Rainbow.
That's a messed up movie.
I love that movie. That's a movie I need to see again.
I'm not dead yet.
That's a good trailer. Bill
What's-
Pullman.
Yeah.
What's the other one with Martin Sheen?
The Believers.
Believers.
That
That's
is
another.
a freaky
Yeah.
movie.
Oh, look at that.
Here's the Crypt
Oh,
Keeper.
it's the Haunted Mansion at
Yeah,
Disney
we're
World.
Disney now. Dun, 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 dun,
Grim
dun, dun,
Grinagos
dun,
come
dun.
out to socialize. It's great.
You've been doing too many roofies.
Yeah, really.
And now
It's like going to a rave.
they've all been taking a little too much E.
Too much shrooms.
Too much Molly. Tie her up. Yeah. Go for it, Watson.
Uh-oh. That's not good.
For the record, there are pastries in this room.
Now that looked like some kind of effect, Carlos. That wasn't real glass.
I don't know. This looks like the Hobbit house when they all raid the pantry.
Hobbiton?
I'm trying to think what this reminds me of. The friggin' pastries. This reminds me of like Better Off Dead.
Yes! Oh, that's so funny.
You know,
Everybody wants some.
look at that.
I tried to find pastries that look like that.
That's your fantasy, isn't it?
What?
To be surrounded by pastries attacked by...
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby.
Oh, I love this.
Oh, there's so many of them.
Yeah, what is that?
This is stop playing Van Halen.
It's like...
Oh, it's classic.
That is great. Look at that. Oh. So, what is this, Carlos? Is this same like Harryhausen stuff?
this is a combination of stop motion and puppets.
Puppets, yeah. That was great.
I think they kind of blew their CGI load on the
night. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that was the, they had one.
They had one good one in them.
Don't we all?
I'm still waiting for mine.
Now this is interesting because he's talking about he's having this hallucination about his parents, and I don't honestly know if this is supposed to refer to something or not. He looks like Timothy Dalton. You know what I never noticed in this hallucination? I never noticed like the cobwebs on his dad and his mom. Now he thinks he's still seeing a hallucination when the Ramiteb dude shows up.
Right.
This guy was probably in Star Wars.
Why does he think that that's a hallucination?
I don't know.
I mean, they had just
He still
come
runs
from
it.
the pyramid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, now he knows it's...
Well, yeah, there he looks like his father.
Well, I mean, he's a smart guy. He's starting to put the pieces together.
Yeah, and he probably is coming off the drug a little.
Yeah.
As we see later on in the film, the drug only lasts a certain amount of time
Yeah.
before the hallucinations stop. It's right behind you. They always portray Lestrade as a buffoon in whatever iteration of Holmes.
Uh-oh. So as we're approaching the
Act 3?
final act of the film, take a look at Cox, because apparently over the course of production, he had a growth spurt.
Is that right?
So they had to compensate by shooting him in different.
Oh, that's
you know,
interesting.
Put him farther away from the camera and not show his head to toe. Full body.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because if you remember in the beginning, they're walking side by side for
Yes.
much exposition, and he's substantially shorter than Holmes.
And, as we know, films are shot out of sequence. So I'm sure there's, they might have shot a lot of the school stuff, concurrently.
Yeah.
Chester Cragwitch.
He's got a giant head.
Or as I like to call him, Chester Exposition.
The game is my foot.
Uh-oh.
All right, Wolverine, take it easy.
Mrs. Dribb. I don't know. There's something about Mrs. Dribb. Like, even before she
looks a little like Mary Steenburgen.
She does,
Yeah.
but I'm saying, like what's, if you're Holmes, what's the association between Mrs. Dribb and Wraith? They look like I would be thinking to myself, they got a little. Is he like her little piece on the side? His piece on the side.
He's too interested in science. He doesn't care about those sort of things.
That's true.
Except for this girl he's pining after.
Whore.
Did you show him your ankle?
Did you show him your wrist?
I showed him I gave him some ankle action.
Susan Fleetwood, who played Mrs. Dribb, passed away in 1995.
Uh-oh. I don't like the sound of that. Maybe I do.
I have to say that I did think, and again, not because I'm not trying to make any statement here about I'm so
Superpowers?
yeah, that I have these deductive powers, but I always thought that he was Moriarty. Even he just to me smelled.
You're saying
bad.
when you first saw the movie?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, I honestly, truly.
Well,
again, and I'm not saying I knew blah blah blah.
But
I really felt he was Moriarty because I felt like how could you not lay the groundwork for Moriarty if you're laying the groundwork for everything else?
Well, I know that nowadays, especially, again, maybe because I'm just so jaded, but every mystery that I watch, it's always whoever is your best friend is the guilty one. Whoever they want you to not suspect, I always picture that's the person, that's the bad guy.
And the fact that he was in such a mentor to him, and that
it's a heartbreaking
betrayal. Yeah, I really had that vibe.
Unless you really make it psychotic and make Watson the killer, really twist the knife on the audience.
Somebody had to be, but I mean,
they did that on Mission Impossible.
But I'm saying, yes, they did. But I'm saying, it wasn't just that I thought he was the villain. I thought he was Moriarty.
Yeah. Which makes it even worse because then you can't kill him.
Well, yeah,
you have to save him for the future, which never came in this particular film.
I wonder, I'm jumping the gun a little here, but I'm wondering if this is the first film that has a post-credit stinger.
Oh, I don't even remember that.
Mm-hmm. It does.
That's even before they were called stingers.
I mean, I don't even know if it's not the first. It's got to be one of the first. But you know what's interesting, and again, I'm jumping the gun, but they made it so that you didn't get up and leave because they still show you things as the credits are going.
It's the old Cannonball Run trick.
Well, it's not. They're not showing you outtakes. Something is
the bloopers.
Stuff is still going on.
You mean Sherlock doesn't slap Holmes in the face and laughs
He
uncontrollably?
doesn't turn into Captain Chaos.
Oh, okay. I'll still watch.
Dun, dun.
There's a commentary.
These bleeds? These bleeds right here?
Please stuff them up your nose.
Tell him, JJ.
I specialize in Zam Buddhists.
Zam Buddhist.
I like clouds and trees.
I like trees because you can lie under them.
And then you just kill yourself.
Okay,
What?
Ball your brains out.
This, like I said, this is Chester Cragwitch or Chester Exposition. His name is Freddie Jones. He's a British actor.
He's been on everything.
He's been. He's still with us. He's in his 90s. I'm going to tell you a few little tidbits about him. He
Likes long walks in the park.
He does. He is the father of
Faja?
Toby Jones.
Faja.
He's the Faja of Arnim Zola. He, in addition to having a noteworthy son, he's been in many, many, many British films. He played the Frankenstein monster in Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed, one of Peter Cushing's Hammer Frankensteins, and one of the what he's probably best known for in terms of American audiences is he was in The Elephant Man, and he played the carnival barker who tortures and torments John Merrick, the Elephant Man, played by John Hurt, and he's fantastic in that. But here he is, basically explaining the plot of the movie. But he's a great actor. He really is. And he's been around the block.
Cognac boys.
Now you talk about the backstory with this and how they plunder the tombs and all this. It's like no wonder they hate us.
Yeah, really.
We've been doing this for like 100 years.
No, that's okay. It's just a mosquito. Damn hobitos. There's a naked man on my balcony.
Yeah, there's a lot of mosquitoes in England in the middle of winter.
In the middle of winter?
Yeah, of course.
Oh boy. Tripping on acid. Oh yeah.
Huh? Uh-oh. Oh boy. Baby burn water. Butter water. Hot water,
Hot
baby. Boom.
And they saved a few bucks on effects with this.
Yeah. Bad trip, dude.
I think this movie was made for 18 million and it made like 19 domestically. I don't know what the worldwide gross was.
In England, I think we still owe them money for that. They're charging us for it.
It's disappointing, but it's not just disappointing that it didn't become a franchise or whatever, but the fact that honestly, there's never been a special edition. We're doing probably the first commentary that's ever been done.
Really?
I'm not kidding.
Wow.
There's no Barry Levinson, Chris Columbus have never done a commentary for this. This DVD is a standard DVD. No one is screaming for it to come out on Blu-ray. I'm sure it will eventually, and it'll probably be a bare bones release. I just very disappointed.
He's talking about young boys.
Oh, stop it. Just stop it.
I have some paints. I have gold and silver. Who wants to be gold? Who wants to be silver?
You're disgusting.
See, that's what he said.
You're just disgusting. You're repugnant. I know you don't even know what that word means.
You make me sick.
Exposition.
Uh-oh.
For any of you David Lynch fans out there, Freddie Jones was in Dune.
Ah.
The dude with the giant eyebrows.
Uh-huh.
They all had giant. Yeah, he looks like one of those guys. Oh, he's tripping again.
Your name is Craggy Chipwich. Critchwich.
Kuchichuchich. Cedra Sidwich.
Oh,
Cumberbatch.
Your name is Benedict Cumberbatch.
Cambin Flacken Plack.
Oh, there you go. Look
Hail
at that
Hydra.
hat.
It's a
bad hat,
Hail
Harry.
Hydra. And look at those mutton chops. The guy behind him there.
Like
look
my
at
fuzzy
that.
hat. Would you like me to remove this man off of you? Or could I take a Tibbs?
what a chooch.
Yeah, he's such a putz.
Look at all those cannons. Uh-oh.
That was a sexy skirt back then.
I almost see a wrist.
Nice bustle.
Ding-a-ling.
It was you.
You crazy bitch.
Tim Mary Steve Virgin.
How freaky is this coming up
Where's Doc Brown?
with the wig and the look at it. She
What is
really
she barking at the jeez.
but when he takes the wig off, she's like it's like holy crap. It's like she turns into a vampire or
Yeah.
something. Or she's just pissed that, she's bald.
Whoa. That's not right. Help me, Wolverine.
This guy has 3 names.
Whoa. Green Lantern.
I'm gonna hypnotize you later, Carlos.
I was going to say, did you ever try this trick on on your gals?
I've done it on you. And you've done some pretty freaky shit.
I just can't
You
remember
just don't
it.
remember it.
I don't
That's
remember
the
it.
whole point.
I mean,
Why am I moist?
Why am I in pain? Why does it hurt down there?
Why
My
am I
neck
bald?
hurt.
Who shaved my head?
Why do I have a rash?
Did I change my clothes?
Why are my pants on backwards?
I'm not wearing underwear.
Why am
What
I
happened?
bleeding? Some nice mat work. Stupid friggin' bear thing. You can't figure it out, Watson.
Smoke your pipe.
I'm going to learn how to smoke it.
He's going to smoke now. Blah, 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 blah.
Like, what's his face? I'm going to smoke. What was his name? No one. The professor that we had.
Seeger? Alan Seeger.
Alan Seeger. Cubby Broccoli.
Cubby Broccoli once told me.
Back when I was working on Honor Her Majesty's Secret Service with George Lazenby. Of course, only we get that.
Google him, everyone.
Yeah, Google him. Yes, you are, Watson. You're very stupid.
Take another
I
drink.
Like
like-
a pastry.
I like Jude Law as Watson. I think he's a good Watson.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
You don't like Frodo?
Oh, I like him very much.
I mean, Bilbo? I mean, whatever.
whatever. He's the
Frodo.
Hobbit
Dude.
dude.
We're all over the place, man.
Hobbit dude.
He's bleeding. It's all coming together.
Like a dream.
Yeah, the music smacks of John Williams. It really does.
Well, I don't think John Williams has stopped working since he was 20.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, it's I wouldn't call it a ripoff, but it definitely is kind of inspired.
Talk about a
And
guy
I
that
could just imagine
turns down work.
if they wanted Williams, he was probably too busy at the time because he was scoring every other movie. that
That's
came
what I'm
out.
saying.
You want some more deep trivia?
I would like very much.
Okay. I know you like it deep. Here we go.
Oh,
The horse on the left appeared on
So earlier in the film, when Watson first arrives at Brompton School, Sherlock Holmes basically gives him what for? Tells him who he is, what his name is,
Yes.
yada, yada, yada. Well, Holmes incorrectly guesses that his first initial stands for James.
Right.
This is a reference to one of the contradictions in the original Arthur Conan Doyle stories. In most of the stories, Watson's first name is John. But in one story, his wife inexplicably calls him James. Watson's middle initial is H, which Doyle never expanded on. And there's popular fan speculation that it stands for Hamish, which is the Scottish version of James. And that this is a private term of endearment used by his wife.
Interesting.
Oh, Hamish.
So it's no joke that Columbus really studied
He really
the world of Sherlock
exactly.
Holmes.
They shouldn't have cracked on him the way they did.
I completely disagree with that.
Yeah. Now this stuff is a little, with the,
It's a hippogriff.
if I was a Holmes purist and this crap was going on with the wax flatter flying thing,
Riot.
not riot, but
that.
it's a little.
Oh, here's the homage to E.T.
E.T..
Yeah, here we go. Fly in front of the moon, boys.
Listen to the music. For crying out
I
loud.
know the music. God, it's William should sue.
Save us, E.T.
E.T.
Drop a shoe on them.
E.T. E.T. E.T.
Alligators in the sewer.
Yeah, this part is all right, whatever.
That could happen. What's wrong with you?
You built one once, didn't you?
Dude,
Well, I want to go for a ride now.
child's play. Not there. Oh, you negative Nilly. Women and children first. Dope.
Watson, you bumbler.
Ba-bump. Hence, flying will not have been invented for another 20 years. Uh-oh.
There he is.
Molaram.
It's Excalibur.
Another
It's
British
False of
film.
Doom.
Tulsa Doom. It's James Earl Jones. We were all rebels and stormtroopers in Star Wars, and now we got this
Now
job.
they shaved our head.
This is a pretty good gig.
What happened?
I'm telling you, I don't remember what movie it was. It was an 80s movie, and I saw Alan Harris in the credits. Bosk.
I don't like that shape.
He might have been. It might have been this movie.
You don't like the camel?
It doesn't look like a camel to me.
It's not supposed to.
Subliminal.
This is not family friendly. Come on, snap out of it. Slap him.
Light up the pipe. Come on.
You're flustered.
You're a bunch of flusters.
She's actually kind of hot.
Wow.
That's what she reminds you of Vulcans.
Ilea.
We don't want to take that conversation
Oh,
further.
yeah. Oh,
No,
man.
no.
Damn.
Ruining Star Trek the motion picture for everyone. Stephen Collins, you pervert. Jeez.
Jesus.
It pulls Seventh Heaven from syndication.
Yep.
It's gone.
Oh. Indy, throw me a whip. He can go and cross over. Can swing over there. Or he could rock the statue back
Yeah,
and
rock
forth.
the statue back and forth.
That's what Indy would have done.
Yeah, but we can't rip off anything, that we've already ripped off.
Indiana Jones.
The torch is going
The
out.
torch is going out.
Why would you dissolve there? You can't dissolve in the middle of this. I'm turning it off.
All right, enough. We can just leave.
Come on, Conan. Start swinging.
Is a Conan happening?
Supposedly.
Yeah.
Oh.
Was Conan the King Conan?
I want it to happen, honestly.
I think it would be
But
fantastic.
you know what?
Again, this is like Conan music.
It is, but you have to have John Milius direct.
Polaris. Yeah, but John Milius he's a mess.
I don't care.
He had like a heart attack or something.
That's all right. He can still direct it.
He was
Put him
supposed to
in
be
a
doing Genghis Khan or something like that.
Genghis?
Genghis?
And then he had his
That's
stroke.
his cousin, Genghis. Genghis Khan.
You think they drew a C-3PO and an R2-D2 like
They
did
must
on,
have. I'm sure they did.
on Raiders?
It's got to be somewhere.
Any Easter eggs in here?
I should have looked that up. I'm always, I'm the British actor guy. I'm always trying to, tell you guys who.
Yeah, thank you for your British knowledge.
You're overflowing in knowledge.
Damn right.
Your cup overfloweth. There's the bean dip.
This is pretty suspenseful too.
Mm-hmm.
And the chanting and everything, it comes.
Uh-oh.
Barry Levinson won an Oscar.
He's a great director. I would just love to see I would love to see interviews with all of them. I mean, what? Kathleen Kennedy, she's not doing anything.
Yeah.
Why can't she, sit for an interview?
Hmm.
Chris Columbus, these guys haven't done anything in I don't know how long.
Uh-oh. Boom, boink. Quick, save the mummy. Wait, this is like Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah, all these movies, I'm convinced. The more we look at these movies with a critical eye, that we've been doing commentaries on, they all rip each other off.
And they didn't even have home video back then to watch these things over and
But
over.
you don't think they couldn't have gotten a print?
Well, yeah, in the insiders, yeah. Oh no, the temple is collapsing. Don't worry, there's the mummy thing on the other side of that wall.
Yeah, the mummies.
Look out.
The crazy bitch.
She's got a flute.
I love this when he. It reminds me of like the Bugs Bunny cartoon with the little native guy, and he's got the blowpipe, and Bugs blows it into his mouth. She's quite a good snarler. There you go, right in your mouth. What happens if it goes right in your mouth? Like you hallucinate like major.
Well, she's probably choking and being stung by it.
Yeah.
It's not so much the hallucinations yet.
She's wearing heels.
Look,
see
she's
that?
imagining she's on fire.
I just noticed that she's wearing heels. Yes, dude. But you don't see her end. So again, it could be a sequel thing, setup, whatever.
Get back or I'll hit you with styrofoam. Oh, it's the big hand of justice.
Back in the day, this is all practical sets.
See? Oh, wait, we have to hit you.
Conveniently.
Where are you going, Mr. Sherlock? Oh, popped him in the nose.
Well, Watson is kind of a sissy boy.
Doesn't he have a magic wand? He could just... Pew!
No.
That is...
What the hell did they say?
Erectus malfunctionus. Erecti dysfunctionus.
Some more factoids about the movie, in particular the music.
Oh.
So David Copperfield, you know, the illusionist,
Uh-oh.
actually used some of this music for his Orient Express special.
Really? And
where
he didn't get sued?
He levitated the an entire train car.
Oh. Come on, Harry. Run, Harry.
Come on, save the day, Harry.
Where's the flying...
He does save the day.
Expecto Patronum.
Where's that flying chicken? Or flying dragon or whatever the hell?
Where's Hermione? I like Hermione.
Wow, this year she was probably, what, -8 years old?
Yeah.
Even has the Harry glasses. Oh, you're back there again?
He's quite an ingenious little fellow, the way he rescues Holmes.
Help! Save me, Harry!
Feels pretty hot in that.
You could actually see the bottom of her neck.
Yeah, you know, plunges just a teeny bit.
So a laundry list of some of the locations: Belvoir Castle in Leicester, England; Elstree Studios, Oxford, as we mentioned before.
Shocking.
Penhurst Place, as we mentioned before, for the fencing; Radley College in Abingdon, Oxfordshire; and Eton College in Berkshire, England. So they cover quite a bit of ground. Does anyone know what the alternate title was?
No, it wasn't that.
Isn't it,
No. It's Young Sherlock Holmes.
Next!
isn't it like Sherlock Holmes in the Pyramid of something?
Yes.
Pyramid of Doom?
The Pyramid of
Yeah!
Pyramid of Doom.
We got a letter from Mr. Spielberg. He says we cannot use Pyramid of Doom.
Cease and desist.
Okay. I got it. I got half of it.
Raiders of the Lost Pyramid? No.
I think that would have been a
Pyramid
little...
of fear.
Fear. Okay.
I'm glad they went with Young Sherlock Holmes. You know, enough with the whole indie ripoff.
Indiana Jones and the Cream Puff?
Indiana Jones and
No?
the Raiders
No.
of the Lost Cream Puffs.
Whoa. Look at that neck.
Look at that neck.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Wait a
lot
minute.
of
You could
flesh.
see
Oh, you could see
3 inches below her
You
chin.
could see her Adam's apple, which she doesn't have because
I'm
she's
there.
a girl.
I'm already there.
Oh yeah. She's what we call an ethereal beauty.
Come on, Harry. You know what to do.
Come on, wave your stupid wand and
Uh-oh. He's muttering to himself.
it's all done. Everything's
No.
fine.
Lucky for me, I have a sword.
Good point. Yeah, it just so happens that he's carrying.
Well, if he didn't have a sword, this movie would end differently.
yeah.
Oh, Harry. I mean, Sherlock. I mean, Holmes. Oh, snap.
Why is he upset that he wants them all dead? So all right, he just got one of them.
Come out and fight like a man. Fisticuffs.
Now we have our saber duel.
Saber.
Saber.
Don't rattle your saber at me.
Atar.
How daft.
I don't know if it's because of my love of Star Wars or my dad kind of got me into swashbucklers, but I love duels.
Mm-hmm. Do you like Zorro?
I love Zorro.
Yeah, me too.
I love my dad showed me the original Zorro, which is great. Basil Rathbone is in that too. And I love the Antonio Banderas, the first one.
Yeah, the first one
I
is
think
good.
the first one is terrific.
Especially because it established the notion of Zorro as a continuing...
yes, like a mythological...
Yeah, it's very like folklore.
Oh, good! I didn't miss the sword fight. I always like to end with a sword fight.
Yeah, and there's one on the screen also.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. What were you guys talking about? What movie are we watching here? Oh, wow! Look at that.
Very well choreographed.
See, Conan would have ended this fight in
Well,
2
the
seconds.
fencing master on the film was a gentleman named Arthur Howell.
Oh, okay.
Let's see if we can
Thurston Howell
learn some
III?
more about Arthur Howell. Well,
Whoa, he's got a hook.
is known for his work for Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Oh.
Everything
Episode
I do
4,
for
A
you.
New Hope.
There
Really?
you go.
There you
Wow.
go. Arthur Howell. Superman, stunts. So his episode 4 work was uncredited for
Okay.
stunts.
Just
See-
like Bob Anderson was uncredited as Darth Vader in episode 5 and 6.
Many uncredited stunts. Arthur Howell. All the way back to Guns of Navarone.
Jeez.
One of my favorite films,
Oh,
1961.
what a great
I'm
movie.
the Guns of Navarone.
And the Guns of Navarone. That is a great movie.
Guns, where's the TNT? I'm the son of the TNT.
You think of the choreography that goes into a fight. I mean, you talk about. I mean, actors. You know, it's not just learning your lines, but when you have these physical scenes, I'm just amazed at how they can memorize not just dialogue, but a block, a parry, a this, a that.
Well, the trick, I think, is the fact that they do 2 moves and they stop.
Oh, you mean when they're shooting?
Right, so
Yeah.
they don't have to... It's not like they're doing a dance recital where they have to learn, 35
That's Christopher Lee dying in one of the Dracula movies right there.
with his hand and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, they I think they do it in stages so that it's like, all right, today we're shooting the...
But
blah,
I
blah, blah.
remember, I remember when Ewan McGregor and Little Annie, Hayden Christensen, rehearsed. They showed a lot of the rehearsal for the duel in
Yeah, and they do
Vengeance
an
Sith.
entire sequence.
Yeah,
almost, like-
which again, it just blew my mind.
Well, even when I watch, if I happen to see like any of these dance competition shows, it's like I can't imagine remembering moves like that. It's like,
Exactly. It
I can't even remember lines.
That's what I'm saying. It's you memorize lines and again, when these
you
are
can't improvise. You
Right.
can't.
and yes, you can say they cut and they this and they that, but these are also all theater actors who have to speak for like long stretches of time. Now, go ahead, Steve. Oh, I was just going to say that it is part of the Holmes canon that he did have something of a love interest that they've actually touched upon in the Robert Downey films and in the Cumberbatch.
Well,
I forget her name,
Well, in the Cumberbatch,
but she's the same person. It's not like Doyle invented this character.
okay.
But I'm not saying like Holmes, rode off into the sunset with her or anything. But
no, I know in Sherlock he does kind of fall
Yeah.
for some chick that is not necessarily a Doyle chick.
in I think she's somewhat of a
Is that the one that she's like
rival.
naked all the time?
Yeah, she's naked.
The
all the time.
dominatrix or something?
Yeah.
Look, it's a Social Security card. There we go. The mysterious frozen ground that people can dig.
Steve, did I cut you off before?
No, what I was going to say is, does anyone have any idea as to how Henry Winkler gets involved with this movie as producer?
Yeah. I mean, I know he dabbled in producing, but This is 1985. You know, Happy Days has just ended.
Yeah,
It's you know, maybe he figured, you know,
is
he
his
would.
name somewhere else attached? Has he done
He's
other
not
movies?
only done producing. He's done some directing. Not the one
Or
that's
TV.
Well, he also directed the classic Cop and a Half with Burt Reynolds.
Right.
And now he's doing, I think, like reverse mortgage commercials.
He does a lot of conventions.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. He does. He's
Yeah, but he writes children's books. I met him at a book signing.
It's kind of like, well, I'm not dead. I got to do something.
He does the Adam Sandler movies. He was in. He was on. He has a recurring role on Parks and Recreation.
Right.
You're right. He plays the doctor, the
dad.
father of
Yeah,
the crazy
he's a
guy,
doctor.
the kid.
Right.
Yeah.
Of
Didn't they?
what's the
Am I
guy's
thinking
name?
of? Oh no, I'm different. I'm thinking of the Indiana
I
Jones.
can't think
film.
of the actor's name or the character's name.
It's the brother and the sister
Yes,
of Aziz Ansari's
Yeah.
character.
I was gonna say, don't
It's
they?
like Paul Rubio
don't
or
they blow
Paul
up the
something or other
statue?
like that, right?
Don't they blow up the statue and the head folds off? I'm thinking of one of the Raider films.
whoa,
Where are you going?
Where are you?
We're
Yeah.
at Park and Rec.
No, see, because in
you
Raiders,
go?
the last Raiders, the ones with the monkey's skull, crystal skull, Monkey Island, whatever, and then they go to the university, and the guy he died, he couldn't be in the film, and they blew up the statue, the Russian shoot, and the statue's head falls down. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, Dan O'Malley.
Yeah, see, somebody knows what I'm talking about.
Marcus Brody. Marcus Brody speaks over.
Does anybody here speak ancient Greek?
Yeah. That bothered me.
He'll blend in. Yeah, they made him a buffoon.
They did.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what bothered me
Even in
about
Last
Temple
Crusade.
of Doom and
Even in Last Crusade.
No, he
but
wasn't.
No, Steve. He in Raiders, you have the sense he's this kind of a character. In Last
Yeah.
Crusade, he becomes like a bumbler,
He's
Yeah.
a comic
Yeah.
relief.
Yeah.
He's almost like Salah. Which Salah was also a serious character.
Yeah, but I could see him being more than
Goofball than Marcus. yeah.
Marcus.
But I mean, that's why I love Raiders the most, is because it to me, it's the perfect balance of
Yes,
the
it's pure.
comedy aspects. You know,
Yeah.
the comedy is meant to lighten it up. Not
Yeah.
it doesn't become something in and of itself.
Right, and I think like for me, Temple of Doom went too far in one direction, and Last
Yeah.
Crusade is better, but it goes into the comedy a
Yeah.
little too much.
Yeah, but Crystal Skull Monkey is
Crystal monkey skull.
culty monkey.
Yeah,
had
that was
sprains.
some description you laid out.
Yeah, for a second there, I thought you
Now,
were
was
having
that a
stroke.
movie?
Crystal monkey skull.
He was having a seizure.
Now, I'm not sure if that was a movie
Oh, here we
or
go. Where's the pipe?
I don't know if it was a movie or a dream I had. I'm not sure.
By the way, I do like, of all the Holmes affectations that start in this movie, or Columbus was, I like the fact that he has Wraith. That's Wraith's coat.
Yeah,
That's kind of cool. That it's like his trophy.
right.
He does look a little older here.
Oh, you're right.
My hot sword.
Now, this looks different. It must be an effect shot coming up. The film quality looks different. Maybe it's a matte? Could that building be a matte?
I don't think so. I think that
No, it
building's
just looks
real.
like this, like
It
something
looks
going on with the
different. The
gate.
quality. Oh, because it's a dissolve.
It's a
That's-
dissolve.
That used to happen so much on older films. All of a sudden, the film stock looks different because you have a wiper or
'Cause
dissolve
wiper
coming
or
up.
dissolve.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's their-
or
and
a,
you
title.
notice that a lot in Star Wars because
Yeah.
there's so many.
They're opticaling the crap out of it.
Yeah. So here's Dennis Murin.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
You have to, you keep your ass in the seats when you see this because they don't fade to black. Gavin Bouquet, he's another Star Wars Lucasy person, but I don't know what he did. I just know he's one of them. But yeah, I love this movie.
It almost, I guess, it does feel kind of like a Christmassy type of movie because of the
Yeah,
snow and
sure.
and part of it does takes place around that time.
And it came out that, I mean, everything they were really hoping they were
Wow.
going to put
Look
it
at
out.
that guy's name, Will Willis. There's a name for you.
It's like Carlosy.
Could happen.
Bouquet did a lot of young Indiana Jones work.
Okay. I was right, though. He's
You
part
were
of the stable.
You were. He did Phantom Menace,
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I knew
Clones, and Sith.
Okay.
Production designer.
Anybody know anything about Tony Miller, the accountant?
Oh, he's great. He's my favorite.
He's the best accountant ever.
He uses an
Bouquet was
abacus.
a draftsman, uncredited on Jedi.
Oh wow, so he's really old school.
Yeah.
And like, you know, I'm watching this and I'm like, what are they going skiing? You know, like what's all this?
They're posing for Christmas cards.
Is this for your eyes only now or Industrial Light and Magic?
Oh, left turn.
Left turn.
Left turn, Clyde.
Pixar Animation
Computer, a
Group,
division
a
of
division of
Lucasfilm.
Lucasfilm.
Yeah, before they
Glass Man
split.
Sequence, yes.
Kenneth Smith, Dave
Where's
Carson.
John-
I know those
where's-
names.
Where's Lasseter?
Those are Lucas people.
He should have been there as an animation director, I think.
He's got to be there. Udo Pampel, he's another great guy. Oh, here we go. Computer Animation Group, John Lasseter.
There it is.
With a bunch of other dudes, you know. Yeah, Max Flatter, Lestrade.
Well, that's one of the things that would happen. Like in between Star Wars films, at first they used to have to just fire everybody because there was
Right.
nothing to do, and then they are like, "All right, you know what? Let's start outsourcing."
You know
Let's
who
start-
you know who I would be nervous if I worked for? I'd be well. I was going to say Weta, but they're going to do the Avatar movies after The Hobbit.
Yeah, they're set up.
They're set up.
They did the Planet of the Apes. They're doing the next Apes, I'm sure.
Yeah, the New Zealand government won't let them fail.
That whole thing is.
This huge, impact to the economy there.
Oh, so they had permission from Doyle. I think that's.
I
his
honestly
Gene
don't
Conan
remember if I
Doyle.
saw this all the way to the end.
Really?
Are you kidding?
Oh, we
I
would
don't
always
remember
watch
any
it
of
to
this.
the end.
When does Burt Reynolds come out drinking a beer? Oh,
Toussaint.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Love it. When's the sequel coming out?
It's great.
I do not remember this.
I
at
had
all.
Anthony
Higgins.
Higgins sign a picture of that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
That shot of his
That
face.
shot of his face.
So
yeah.
hear this music?
That's-
This was the music Williams composed for the Amblin logo.
Oh, okay.
It's like one of only 4 films where it actually accompanies the logo.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
good movie.
what do you guys? Do I even have to ask? What do you think?
Oh, it's fantastic.
it's a
It
great
still,
movie.
it still holds up.
I was gonna say, does it?
I
hold
would love
up?
to see a Blu-ray of that. I think it
I would love
warrants
to
it.
see a sequel. I'm not kidding.
What would
Why
it
not?
take? I
Let's
mean,
do it. Let's just write the sequel. Forget this
think
sitting
about it.
around
These
and
guys
complain about
might-
other people.
The
Let's
actors
just do
are
it.
still around. They're an adult
Yeah,
age. They're
They're not
adults.
that busy, I think there's a market
Or
for
how
it.
cool would it be for these guys to show up on Sherlock or something like that?
Well, like I said, I mean, they did that improvisational thing on stage in England, and people got a big kick out of it. I think it would be fun.
or make the guy who plays Sherlock be the next Moriarty, even though they already have one.
What would be fun?
Make him a baddie.
What would be fun is just to see them work together again in on a show or something. I don't know, but I just think
They could be like a bad guy and a sidekick.
I
the
think
evil.
with between Cumberbatch, between the Johnny Lee Miller, between Robert Downey, I would think that is like everybody's like Sherlock
too
enough.
full, yeah.
Yeah.
It would be nice, and you never know. You never say never, especially in this day and age when you have sequels coming out 20, 25, 30 years later. It's not completely
right. Not all of them
out
pick
of
up
the
steam. I
realm.
know that for a while there was a Goonies. Steam was picking up.
There
and
still
then-
is, and the Ghostbusters.
Yeah, and then
Even-
it kind
even-
of fizzles in and fizzles out.
I mean, at the end of the day, even with like the passing of like Harold Ramis and stuff, I still think there's probably they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
I'd be, they're gonna do another Beverly Hills Cop. It's gonna happen. I mean, whether people think it's gonna be good or not, Brett Ratner, they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
So nothing is impossible.
But I've never heard any rumblings of this
No.
film. Like, I don't even hear people referring to it as a pop culture 80s
Right.
thing. It's like, it's forgotten about.
Right, and I think it's we're like carrying the torch
Like,
for it.
people still bring up Gremlins
Oh,
sometimes,
sure.
and even Goonies.
Oh, they talk about reboots.
Yeah, but this, it's
No.
like,
No,
it's faded.
Yeah.
but
It's a shame.
we represent.
Represent. All right, well, I want to thank both of our Steves, and I'll even thank myself today for not falling asleep during one of our commentaries.
I'm impressed.
Isn't that good?
Yeah.
We'll
It's
see what happens next.
contributing and everything.
Yeah.
You on your meds?
And of course, thank you guys for listening, and we will see you here next time at GeekFest Rants. Bye-bye, everybody.
The game is afoot.
Rammy tip.
Your name is James Watson. You're from the north of England. Your father is a doctor. You spend a considerable amount of leisure time writing, and you have a particular fondness for custard tarts. Am I correct?
My name isn't James, it's John.
Oh, James John, what's the difference?
A great deal.
Oh, very well. So your name is John. How did I do on the others?
You are correct. On every count. How's it done? Is it some sort of magic trick?
No, no magic, Watson. Pure and simple deduction. The name tag on your mattress reads J. Watson. I selected the most common name that begins with J. James. Or John, that would have been my second choice.
Of course.
Your particular style of shoes are not made in the city. I've only encountered them once before during a brief visit to the north of England. The middle finger of your left hand is indented with a callus, the trademark of a writer. And you are carrying the Hunter's Encyclopedia of Disease, a handbook not available to the general public, only to practicing physicians. Since someone of your age obviously hasn't been to medical school, I concluded that it was given to you by an older person, someone very dear to you who was concerned for your health. Your father, the doctor.
And the custard tarts?
Simple. There's a distinct stain of yellow custard on your lapel. That particular colour of custard is used in the making of custard tarts, and, well, your shape convinced me that you've eaten many of them before.
There's no need to be rude.
Come on, we haven't got all day.
Well, hang on, where are we going?
You wouldn't want to miss chemistry class, would you?
By the way, what's your name?
Holmes. Sherlock Holmes.
Hey,
The game is my foot.
why am I moist?
You're disgusting.
See, that's what he said.
You're just disgusting.
Primitive Doom.